Okay, hey.
Hey.
So you sound normal to me. Do I come through normal to you?
Yep, you sound completely normal to me.
So that's how it was last time. I guess we'll have to wait for somebody else to join up and see what the hell. That's weird.
Yeah. Strange.
Yeah, maybe you can type in a second, like someone just joined up, because I don't think I can type in.
I can type in. All right. Someone says, I can hear you now.
All right, we don't sound like robots this time.
So no robotic sounds then.
All right, that was weird, but
We've just never have known, so good that someone said something.
we're just talking along, like la da da.
About how you don't remember any of our good time shopping.
I know. I can't
Rude.
believe. Completely have zero recollection. I mean, it sounds like something we would absolutely have done because we were right there.
Yep. I got this badass inking brush actually. It was like one of the super me.
Did you get a phone call?
I did. Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. You cut out for a minute, but now your picture's gone.
Oh, it's a damn picture. I forgot. Okay, I'll have to join up again. This is such a joke.
Well, someone's saying, let us know if things go weird again. Um, Technological difficulties. There you are.
Okay, can you see and hear me?
I can't. Yes. That's so
Okay.
weird that it does to your phone. It's such an odd thing.
Whenever there's a setting I can go in and do, what I should do is just like block all calls until this is over. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yes, we did go shopping and it was fun.
Well, that's what I was saying about being in that art store. I'm like, everything here is so cool. I say I would want one of everything. I don't need. I wouldn't even use, but it's like that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think about who's the only other person that I know. I mean, I know, I guess, a couple of people, but you're the one I think of most prominently when I'm like, oh, she would appreciate this.
I'm sure I
Sitting here,
would.
yeah.
I'm
One
telling
of
you,
these
like,
days. Go ahead.
I say I either when I go into one of those stores, it's the worst to go down the paint aisle for me because I want every color and I want oil paints because oil paints are just beautiful, but they're so
Yeah.
expensive. I'm like, will I really
Yeah.
use these? Do I have the patience for this right now in my life? Always want the brushes. I want every pen they have. I
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. I hear you completely. I was gonna say one of these days when you're you know, not pregnant anymore and some time has passed, you have to
don't. Oh
see
yeah.
if you can't like we'll have to like drive there. You meet me there. Well, like it's art
Yeah,
supply. Let's go supplies and just meet up there.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It's true. That would be great. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't do enough art supply runs.
What's one thing when you could just order what you need and have it show up, but to go into an actual brick and mortar store that's got all the stuff sitting there. It's like, oh, look at all this magical stuff. It's this little tiny shop.
Right.
Just everything's crammed together. It's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
fun. It's a fun thing. That's 100% true. It really is. You are not wrong.
Mhm. But yeah, I've been meaning to go, and I had a doctor's appointment out that way anyway. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just leave early, go wander around the art store, and then just
Mhm.
be right there. Right. So I got to
Really
do
just
one one fun thing and one like I guess I have to do this thing.
as I say, do the thing you don't want to do and reward yourself.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. So did you do this particular drawing off of a reference?
Yeah. I got it right here off to the side.
Oh, okay, okay. Is that the same one that you used the reference for some of those others recently?
Yeah.
She looks familiar. Okay.
Yeah. I haven't done one of her face, but it's almost like too perfectly symmetrical, like in a way, like it's like, especially this photo, the hair, the eyes, everything. I'm like, God, it's almost like this flawless AI produced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, like, it's so perfect. I'm gonna use that as reference to draw this face. So just cause, kind of like those other two I was showing you that I did in the blue pencil I just did just because. Just sometimes, I should be working on my comic pages and I will, but sometimes I got to just do something else just for the fun.
Right. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Looks really good. Looks super, super good.
It's all right. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out when I'm done inking it. I might fuck it up.
You might.
Right?
That's true.
Hmm. You
No,
don't believe that.
I don't believe you would do that. But you never know.
Right.
Never know what
Think
will
about these
happen.
faces that are especially like this. It's just very simple, clean lines. Like there's not a lot of room for error. You got to get that one line exactly perfect. And if you
That's true.
don't, then you're going to quiet out or the touch up. There's not. It's not like drawing a monster with a bunch of scales and muscles. You can hide shit, but in this very slick pencil, like there's zero room for error. So.
Yeah, see, that's what scares me.
You got to face the fear. You just got to just jump into it and not be afraid.
I suppose.
You're like, yeah, uh-huh.
I will
Nah,
remember that.
yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. I was doing something the other day, or I was telling somebody, you just gotta jump in and do it. Like if you're just afraid all the time, you'll never get better at it. And my sister Kate, she like chimes in on some of these sometimes. Um, she was like, "That's funny coming from you," and I was like, "Whoa, what does that mean?" And she's
Uh,
like, Mrs. always complaining on all your lives about inking your stuff because you're afraid you're gonna mess it up. It's like, okay.
oh, called your shit right out.
She really did though. I was like, wow, okay, all right. I
That's
see
hilarious. I gotta
you.
give her a high five.
Like, okay,
Like, all right, all right.
fair
Thanks for
enough.
taking my private moments and airing it out publicly right in front of everybody.
Exactly.
It's fucked up, but I also kind of respect it. I don't know how to feel.
I was like, wow, wow, wow. Speaking of, I just fucked up this one, but that's okay.
Look at this. People show up to the chat and they shout you out, not me. People show up for you
What?
in the chat.
Oh, yes, yes. It's coming in slow, I guess, for me. Wow, thanks,
Yeah.
Nick. Thanks for all the beautiful roses and the dancing ladies and all that.
Were there dancing ladies
Can you see? Can
there?
you see?
Gosh, I do. Now I do. That's hilarious.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it, but not many people are showing up for my dumb ass.
That's actually not true. This is legitimately your channel, and you have followers because they actually give a crap about comic books.
Yeah, but you bring in that extra fun factor of like, oh, she's more interesting than that chud looking Rob that talks about comics all the
That's not true. Man, you are really just putting yourself down right now.
time.
What's
Hmm.
up, Mr. Skeleton?
Oh, damn, Mr. Skeleton here.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. It is coming along. I mean, I just haven't done anything since the last one we've done, so yeah.
Nick, like, we love you, Rob, especially the drunk stream. Here I was hoping people would have just forgotten about that by now.
No one's forgetting about that. I hope you know that.
Not any soon. Oh man, I mean, like I said, it was super fun. I'm a little embarrassed by it, but I ain't taking it down.
Honestly, that shows some guts, honestly.
I can't be a hypocrite. I mean, I'm sure I'll find some other way to be, but
Oh my
he's eating
god.
a gluten-free pizza.
I know I haven't done the crust yet.
Yeah, it's just cheese and vegetables.
I could put that twist on it.
Right?
I'd be the worst gluten-free person ever. I really would. I would struggle so much with that.
Well, my ex-wife, she got diagnosed with that, whatever the
Celiacs?
technical. Yeah, and she knew, she was kind of like you. She's like, I think that this is a possibility. And she's like, I really don't want it to be. It would be so hard. But what she found out is because she was so sick with what it was doing to her body, and she had no idea. Once she went off of it, she felt so much better. It's not one of these people that just do it just because it's like a trendy thing, and they're just, I want
Yeah.
gluten free, bad for you. Like, she was actually profoundly sick from it. Her regular doctor never even suggested trying it. So she went to this naturopathic doctor, this like hippie doctor that lived up in the mountains. He's just
Damn
transgendered as a woman.
hippies.
And just to find somebody else recommended this. And so she goes up and the doctor does some blood work and says, your immune system is fucking overworked. It is going crazy. Your white blood cell count, this, that, and the other. She says, just try one thing. Go off the grains. Go gluten free. Just try it. And it was an instant fix.
Wow.
Instantly. She's like, her energy returned. She started losing weight. She started feeling more clear minded. And she's like, I'm so fucking mad that I never tried this one thing and that my regular doctor never even bothered suggesting to try it. And so the point that I'm getting at, you're saying you would have a hard time with it. I get it. But if you were legitimately sick from it and then suddenly you felt better, this is how she dealt with it. She's like, I'm actually fine with it. I'd rather trade in feeling good for not getting to eat certain things.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I know somebody, my one of my neighbors actually it was interesting for her. She ate stuff with gluten in it because she had celiac as well. She would be laid up in bed for days. Like she could not. And so if I were like that, of course, I would feel the same way, I think.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, it's not something that I'm aware of that I have to deal with, but I
Yeah.
definitely understand it. It's definitely a real. You know what was interesting with her though, and I found this super interesting, is she could not eat anything with gluten in it. However, her mom grew her own wheat And if she ate wheat stuff made from wheat from her mother's garden, she didn't get sick.
That's an interesting point because my ex-wife, she kind of went digging into it, and she's like, the wheat that's grown is this genetically modified this, that, and the other, and it's fortified so it can stay on the shelf. So it's got all these preservatives in it that do
Mhm.
this, that, and the other. Not a natural thing. And so that would make sense if you eat this naturally grown, just a seed that grows in the earth, and not this modified horse shit.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, my ex wife is too afraid of trying it, but I bet she
Right.
probably. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be something she could do. But yeah, that makes perfect sense.
But why
So
take
it's
the
crazy.
risk?
Yeah, but the shit that we eat.
It's true. It's true. I've done a lot of different diets. I was vegan for over a year for a while, and I felt pretty good doing that. But the thing about it, and this is something everybody's gonna be like, "What?" Is just because you're vegan doesn't mean like, oh, you're only eating vegetables. And so it's so healthy and you're just skinny and lose a bunch of weight. No, because there's so many modified, full chock full of preservatives vegan food out there.
Well,
And
French vegan, they're not healthy for you. You know
what
what I
is it?
mean?
What'd you say?
Like French fries.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like that's not
French
meat,
fries,
but
Twizzlers, Oreo, all these different things. And
yeah.
so it really comes down to how you just how what you're eating and what's in the things you're eating. It's not necessarily like a one, I don't think one
Yeah.
size diet fits all.
You've had to modify your diet just here a little bit, weren't you saying, for getting iron in your system, right?
Yeah. That's the issue is then but then you struggle with iron because you can get iron when you're vegan, but your body actually processes iron from animal products easier than it processes iron from like spinach or greens. By the time, because the I believe it's like it sits in your body longer if it's from an animal, and so it's take can take the time to process it. But then if you are eating greens and stuff a bunch to get the same amount of iron, it's going to take you literally just stuffing your face full of spinach for like hours to get the same amount as like in a steak. Because
Wow.
your body just pushes it out so fast. So you have to eat like calcium when you eat that stuff with it and the right amount of calcium. Or you have to take a special it was just always something.
What about just supplements, like a iron supplement or something like that? Is
Right.
that not?
Right, but even with iron supplements, you've gotta take calcium with them. So, like, in my situation, when I had all those issues with titus, which could have come from me being vegan, to be honest with you, when I was in the hospital, I had to take iron supplements and get blood transfusions and stuff. And they told me, they said, "Oh, you're gonna need to drink orange juice with this, so it actually your body's able to quickly um, absorb it instead of it passing through too quickly."
That's
So,
interesting.
really, meat is like the only way to get iron to just like stick around in your system without having to do special things.
Well, Wiley J, he's just said I went carnivore for 2 months and I felt great. Why did I stop? I remember there's um this the person on this internet. I was going to say the name. I shouldn't care. I'm like, sometimes it's a political thing. Who cares? Jordan Peterson is his name, and he was talking about this like basically like carnivore diet, all meat diet,
Mhm.
and modern thought would tell you based on what some people would tell you, aside from the like animal cruelty aspect, is that it's super unhealthy. Red meat, bad, 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 bad. But he's like, I think he was choosing what he was eating specifically, but he's like, I kind of felt like I come out of this fog. My mind cleared up. I felt sharper. I felt smarter. I felt
Mhm.
clearer. I lost weight, and I was like, "Huh, you know, that's really interesting."
That
So
makes sense to me.
yeah, so it's something I kind of have thought about. My
But
dumb
then
needing to
you
try
have
something.
my husband who was told basically meat is killing him because of his liver problems. His liver literally can't digest the meat. So he has
Really?
to, yeah, but he has liver disease, so it's a little bit different, you know? And so
Jeez.
he has to cut back on it. He really can't eat that much meat anymore. He does, but it doesn't feel good. Again, I just feel like it's one of those things where not everybody's situation
Yeah, that's the
is.
thing right there.
I often wonder if my son has a gluten aversion because he has so many issues with headaches and stomach aches, and it always seems to come after eating um, carbohydrates.
That's interesting. Something to have to dig into on them.
I know I've thought about just saying, "Hey, should we put him on some?" But I've got my in-laws. They do keto, and they love it. I mean, they feel super great doing keto, and they lose weight really fast. And
That's right. You said keto, but for it kind of fizzled out the audio for just a millisecond. I thought you said Cheeto, like I'm like they do Cheeto. I'm like, Tell me about the Cheeto diet."
so here's the thing about the
Oh.
Cheeto diet.
Let me tell you what you don't realize.
I don't know. The whole thing's interesting. It's actually been something I was looking at yesterday. I was pulling out stuff, and I told my dad because he's got high cholesterol and all kinds of issues he's trying to deal with. I said, I think almost a little bit of everything balance wise is the best way to go,
Yeah.
unless you have specific health problems. Like obviously, if you have an aversion to gluten and it's going to make you sick, don't eat gluten. But, I think we need some meat, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, dairy, here and there as well. Like all of it probably is good for us. We just aren't always very good as human beings at moderating how we take it all in.
Yep. Sitting here like kicking off to the side the McDonald's bag I got from earlier when I was driving home from a doctor's appointment.
Oh, I had Panda Express. No judgments.
You know what's funny is one of my friends, she used to be one of my bosses at my job, and she quit about a year ago, and we keep in contact. And when I went to the the corn maze 2 weekends ago with Danielle, and she
Hmm.
went, one of her buddies, and she's in her mid 30s, and she traveled to Germany about a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
and she came back because well, no, it was about, who cares about the time frame anyway. She quit. She took some time off because she had a lot of money saved up, so she lived on her savings for like 6 months, and she went to Germany. She's always wanted to go, and she came back and she's like, "I'm moving to Germany. I love it." But then when
Wow.
we were at the corn maze, we were sitting around and talking. I said, "I remember you posted about this. Tell me." She had posted about all the food there that she was like loving, and she's like, because she'll never watch the stream. I would never say this. She struggles with her weight a little bit, which I get as a woman how she feels. We've talked about it at length. She's completely freaking beautiful, but she
Hmm.
carries a little tiny weight in her lower body, but she's still super hot. But she's always struggled with her body image,
Yeah.
you know, to a point where it's almost like, especially when she was younger. But I know that she doesn't verbalize it as being a struggle for her, but it is. But she's like, I ate anything over there. I ate breads, grains, pastries. She's like, everything tasted better. I felt energetic. I felt clear in my head. I was losing weight because she was over there for like 3 weeks.
Wow.
She food they make is not this processed bullshit, just like we're talking about the grains and stuff like that. She's like, I would eat anything. I felt healthier than I have ever been in my life. And I was losing weight and eating almost anything,
Wow.
like sweet pastries and shit like that. I'm like, oh man, it's frustrating.
Well, and over from what I understand in Europe too, they buy their groceries on more of a daily or every other day basis. So all their produce is always super fresh, even if they're cooking from home. Like it's not this, I don't know, is growing up this way. One big grocery trip for the next.
Right.
There they don't do it that way. Everything's always very fresh. And I they feel like they walk more. I feel like what they intake, there was this scene in Eat, Pray, Love. I don't know if anyone's seen this movie or not, but there was this scene where she's gets spaghetti, and it's this teeny amount of spaghetti in Italy. And they talk about how, well, we just savor our food. Like we don't necessarily eat big amounts, but we sit and we savor it and then we're full kind of thing. And I feel like they just live a little bit differently. We're not everything's so fast paced and it's on to the next thing, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. That
Just kind of,
makes
and
perfect.
I've never been over there,
It
but
made me want to experience it, like what she was talking about.
yeah,
So, yeah, and it's kind of frustrating when you see so many people struggle with their weight here, and it's cultural, but it's also the crap in the diet. It's kind of shocking how bad it is. And you wonder, well, you don't wonder why. Like a huge amount of percentage of Americans are very overweight.
right. Oh yeah, I mean, it's true. That's kind of our MO.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there myself.
I've always thought you've never been a big girl, whatever. Shut up. It reminds me of this
I mean,
Simpsons
technically I
episode.
was when I first got pregnant. Actually, that's what they told me. They told me like, "Oh, you're starting out a little bit overweight," you know. But
I
I
mean,
get what you're
I,
saying. I
I,
get what you're saying.
yeah, I know. I've never seen you be a big girl. I mean, but you're also petite, and a little bit of weight on you makes a bigger difference than, you know, if my big ass drops 50 pounds, you might sort of notice it. If someone that's small like you really would see it, either adding it or subtracting. So, you know,
I guess. I guess that's true.
no, it's 100% true. I've known people that are like, "Yeah, I dropped 20 pounds." I'm like, "I can completely see it. You look like a massive change. I lose 20, I gain 20." And it's like, you can't really tell because I'm 6'3". I'm a big guy anyway. So, anyway, I see what you're saying. But I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, it reminded me of this episode of The Simpsons. It was a Halloween episode where Homer turned into this giant monster, and he was just starving, and he was craving food, so he started eating people. He turns into this giant, starts eating people. He's like, "Oh, I need the savory flavor of fat human beings. Thank God I'm in America."
Oh, I know, right?
It's so funny.
It's true. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. It's the whole thing's very interesting and it does make me feel like, oh, what is it that they're doing that we're not here?
Yeah. And I can tell my poor oldest boy, he's already going to struggle with this weight like his daddy. He's got a sweet tooth. He doesn't want to be outside. He doesn't want to be active. And I was 1,000 times more active than he was at this age. I was outside running around playing soldier boy with my toy plastic guns, riding bikes and doing all kinds of cool shit. He doesn't do anything like that. He's already starting to get to be a little bit of a chunker.
Wow. And I mean, how does that make you? Oh, Mr. Skeleton says over here in Serbia, where I live, almost everyone has their own gardens with vegetables and other stuff.
See, that's a lost art. It's so easy to just hell, you just get on your phone and type in a couple of digits and Kentucky Fried Chicken shows up at your front door.
That's so true. That sounds good too.
You're like, oh, KFC sounds so good right now. It actually does. I should just, but
um,
there's the problem. It's so easy just to go to the store and I've actually discovered a joy of you saw that stuff that I was cooking recently with Danielle where I did the lobster and then we made beer battered shrimp.
oh yeah, yeah,
And it's like, this is fun. I enjoy this. And like the whole going to the store, buying all this fresh produce, cooking it up and making it. It's like it takes some effort. And those things, because they were lobster and shrimp, were a little more expensive. But
yeah.
I'm like, I really enjoy this. I need to do this more.
That makes sense. And see, I have, I usually have a garden every year, and I do um tomatoes and peppers, and sometimes I'll try like squash and things like that. And I will say, like, it's kind of nice. It does save a lot of money, but also, if I'm on top of it, I will can and make my own sauces and salsas and things. And I do feel like I also have come to like really enjoy like having that skill and be like, oh, I made this from stuff
Yeah.
that I grew, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
in a similar way what you're saying with the cooking the like I mean, you're cooking some really badass meals, you know. Those aren't like, oh, I made some grilled cheese and tomato soup. Like that's a pretty hefty meal there.
Yeah. And having Danielle over to help because she made like the garlic encrusted asparagus, which I'd never ever tried. I've never been someone to try asparagus. It just looks terrible. But I was actually kind of into it. I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. She makes all kinds of nice shit. She's always sending me pictures of the stuff she's cooked up. I'm like, oh damn. She's making fish and rice and because
Oh
she's
wow.
super health because she's having a little bit of an unnecessary health crisis. She's kind of freaking herself out because she's super tiny. I mean, she's slightly taller than you, but she's a very, very petite girl. But the doctor says she might have hypertension. And I'm like, it's not your diet. You are super healthy conscious. You work out. You've got muscle. You are lean as shit. You might
I
have
was gonna say
some
she's
genetic
like a
own.
she's always at the gym, isn't she?
I don't know that she goes to the gym, but she always works out. Like she doesn't get those muscles from just working at Home Depot. But
R- right. I was gonna
but
say she's like
she,
super, super
she's got
fit.
0%. but
Yeah.
um but she's been very particularly like watching her diet and she was even doing like the raw egg things just to get the protein in her, like I almost said Rambo, like Rocky. If you've ever seen the first Rocky where he
Oh
cracks
yeah, I
raw
know all
eggs.
about the raw eggs. I know all about that.
I
My
was like,
my
go
family's
ahead.
all oh, I would say my family's all big gym goers and the
All right.
old. Oh yeah, I'm kind of the oddball out in that area.
I mean, it looks like a cup of snot. I'm like, how does it taste? She's like, it's kind of neutral. She's like, it doesn't, there's not much taste. It's more the texture. And I was like, all right, I actually kind of had to explain to her. I'm like, look, I don't know shit about anything, but don't, she tends to have high anxiety and worry about stuff. And so I was
Mhm.
like, look, don't worry yourself to death unnecessarily trying to solve this problem by like hitting the weights in the gym and hyper watching your diet. I mean, obviously eat healthy, which she always does, but like you got no weight to lose and it's not a weight issue. Now, I'm not a doctor, see what the doctor says, but I'm pretty sure your doctor would look at you and go, you actually could stand to gain some weight.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is a back, like there's such a thing as you're too skinny, your body starts shutting down. Now she's not there at all, but like I was talking about, you lose a little bit of weight. Like she can't lose 20 pounds. She would be under 100 pounds if she lost 20 pounds, you
Yeah.
know? And she says one time she got, for some reason, something happened. She got really skinny and like stopped menstruating. Like her body just shut off doing that type of
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
So she's aware of that, but I'm like, just don't let your anxiety push you to like overcorrect the problem. Like work out, eat healthy, but I when you go see your doctor next, I guarantee you, I bet you they would say you're doing fine. It's not a health issue. Like a it's not a weight issue. Don't start trying to like work out harder and lose weight to get your blood pressure under control like Rob's fat ass. It's a genetic component you can't fix except by, she doesn't want to take a medication. But I'm like, the medication's fine. It's just if you need one little pill to solve this problem, it's over and it's done. You're fine. So don't overcorrect. But she was doing that raw egg thing, and I'm like, all right, but just don't starve yourself to death. It's a little gross. This raw egg thing.
It's not my style. I think I would. Well, everything sounds disgusting to me right now, but I think even if I wasn't pregnant, wouldn't. I couldn't do it. A lot of people do just the egg whites. They just drink the egg
Yeah,
whites. I'm like,
yeah,
that sounds disgusting, but
yeah. Let me just throw it into a pan and just scramble it up or hard boil it or something.
right, like why let's just cook it first, folks. Like why are we getting all gross with it here?
Well, I think I finished inking this drawing. I don't think there's anything else to do to it.
Looks great. You're right, it's very simplistic, but it looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, her hair's supposed to be black. In my head, this is the character that's going to spin off into the new book. You know what I mean? That's what I've used that girl as reference for. But
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't want to blacken it in. I just want to leave it open like this. It could be colored dark, but it's just simple line drawing. So I think I'm done with this one. So I guess I'll have to move on to one of the others.
Wow, look at you all quick at it.
Shit.
Here I am. I'm still doing my same one from
Still
last.
painting up some pizza.
Yeah.
Which one should I do?
Do that one
All right.
next.
Anybody in the chat? Jessica votes for I ink this one. So do I ink this one here, girl flexing, or do I ink this one, uh, naked girl sort of flexing
With like a sword.
with the sword? Sword flex, nudity, or
Well,
like
when you put
PG
it
rating?
that way.
You're like, oh well, if given the chance of hot girl nudity, yes or no, I know which direction I'm gonna go.
Ugh.
I I kind of want to do. Well, I want to do them both, but the only thing that's stopping me on this one, I didn't do the face very clear. You can tell where I focused all my energies when I was penciling this, and it's right here.
Oh
But
wow.
I didn't detail up her face that clear, but I focused all the detail. Imagine joining the stream right now.
Being
Anyway,
naked is a
um,
flex, Ranning TV says.
or he says what being naked, right? First, I, I, I think that's 2 votes. This one. Uh, yeah, I think I'll do this guy, this gal. This one I don't have the reference for. Well, I do, but it's on my phone on my camera reel, so I can't look at it. So that means
Wing
I
it.
just have to wing, right?
Yep. That's what you gotta do.
But ideally, I've already got all the details down that I needed. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you seem to have done that. Those are pretty tight pencils.
damn, now my text is starting to overlap and jumble up. Someone's saying I
Someone
can't.
saying says I like them both. SSJSS Gecko says first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Because why not? You suggested it. That's like 3 votes. That's enough.
I just think that one's kind of unique. I mean, I know you've done some of those similar poses, but it's kind of a fun
Yeah.
one.
For me, there's a fine line. I think I've talked about this. A fine line for drawing a girl with muscles, where it's attractive but not suddenly making me feel like, oh, is that a guy?
Oh gosh.
And not that any of these girls that are muscular and any of their choices are, no one gives a shit what I think. Like, who cares about my opinion? But um, this is I referenced this girl. She's like a competitive eater on YouTube. She's really funny and kind of charming, and she's this little tiny petite thing. But she was a competitive. She's been in the military. She served in the army. She was a competitive bodybuilder, and now she's a competitive YouTube professional eater. It's really funny, but it's
Oh
crazy how
wow.
she's this tiny little thing. The amount of food she packs away, and she keeps her figure. This is what she looks like as of like yesterday. Like, I don't know how these people do it. How she keeps. I mean, they obviously must watch their diet super close in between and exercise like a motherfucker.
Yeah, so my sister, I think I've told you about her. She she used to be before decided to stay at home, a personal trainer, and she did like weight training and kickboxing and taught all kinds of stuff. And she would weigh, I mean, with her muscles, she'd weigh like 125, but I mean, she'd look like her waist would just be the tiniest thing ever, and then she would just have she was very petite as well, but she would just have like rippling muscles. I mean, her back and thing. She could sit and eat, put down like I think it was 4 grillers from Taco Bell and several burgers at a time. And it was because her metabolism was so fast because of all the
Yeah,
working out she did that she was able to do this. And I just thought, wow.
yeah. Well, you have to eat a lot to grow. Like, you have to have that fuel in your body to build that muscle. And so it's
Mhm.
weird, we're told all the time, eat less, blah blah blah. No, if you're bodybuilding, you got to eat the right things, but you got to eat a lot of it. Some of these bodybuilders are talking about it's hard sometimes. You got to eat so damn much, it just gets old. I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah, my brother-in-law Mike, he's always saying that because he does. I mean, he's massive. I mean, he's just a beast. He's always at the gym, and he's like, I just get tired of eating. Yeah, I feel like I just got to eat and eat and eat, and it's a lot. I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
that stuff just doesn't. I mean, I liked working out. I like working out. I like doing cardio sometimes. That stuff just doesn't appeal to me, I guess. I really got into running for a long time. I do enjoy running, but I enjoy the running to kind of clear my head and all that.
yeah, kind of a therapeutic thing more than a health thing.
Yeah, I just really like running for that, and I really used to get into it, and I hope to get into it again, but again, I don't think I'll push myself on any competitive level, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
All right. Showing a little bit of a black outline on Old baby Yoda here.
I like the cheese dangling off the side. It gives it some life. I like that.
That was not in the original picture, and I was like, dude, this needs some like
That's your own
cheese.
act.
Yeah, some cheese stretch to it.
That's awesome. If like Pizza Hut was doing like a Star Wars cross promotion, this is the type of shit they should have painted on their windows outside of their, brick and mortar stores. Just have that like that's what you'd see on that kind of thing. That would be awesome. I'd
That
be like,
is
oh, it's you. Let's get Pizza Hut.
yes. Really lure the people in for all the bad food we were just talking about.
Right. What was it we were talking about that sounded good? And we're both like, oh no, I want that.
Okay, KFC.
Oh, right. There's some greasy chicken. I could go for that right about.
Love myself some KFC.
I had some Popeyes chicken yesterday, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I think, I'm gonna say my dad, when I was a kid, I don't know if this is still a thing they have. I certainly haven't checked, but he used to get chicken livers, fried chicken livers from
Gross.
KFC. Yeah. And like as an adult now, oh, isn't that where all the junk is anyways, processed in your body? So like that chicken, like, ugh. He used to love them.
I remember being younger and going through the grocery store with my parents, and at the meat counter in the back,
Hmm.
freaking like cow. I'm like, I wanted to vomit. Like, who in the fuck looks at a cow's tongue and like, I get in a world of like, if you're like early settlers and you've got to use everything on the planet and don't have the luxury of picking and choosing, you're going to use every damn thing. I get it. But I was like, I would rather drink rancid tuna salad from my own ass than.
Ew. Okay, but I gotta tell you, I've had cow's tongue.
uh,
I've had cow's
and
tongue. I've had pig's feet. Um,
gross,
Eaten a lot of frog legs. But
gross.
would I eat them now? No. Did I eat them because that's what my parents got me? Yes.
Yes.
I grew up in the country, and so those things were like my dad. My dad used to go squirrel hunting and eat squirrel, and my grandmother's favorite part of the squirrel was squirrel's brain.
Yeah.
Yep. Cheers. You know what? I don't know if they had Pizza Yoda from my South Park episode. I'm not I used to watch South Park a lot, but I have not seen a lot of it recently. Um, but this was just actually my kids found a picture pretty similar to this online and asked that I do it for them. And this was a while ago, so I'm not sure where this all comes from.
You should have offered up the art in trade as opposed to doing it just because you're a good mom. You should have been like, all right, I'll do the painting, but you've always got to go clean your fucking room or
Wouldn't have
something. Like
worked.
whatever,
They wouldn't have
whatever
done
they
it.
need to do. Right. They're like, oh, never mind. I don't want the painting.
They're like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I just thought mommy would do this because she loves us, but she's going to make us work. If like her love is now coming at a cost like that, I ain't, I'm not
Yeah,
interested.
that sounds more likely how they would react to that.
That's funny.
I'm just kidding, guys. Kind of.
And maybe. The other weekend, I come across this great idea. I'm like, all right, kids. I had them for the weekend. I'm like, we're gonna clean house. We're gonna do a big deal. We're gonna kick its ass down to the bare bones. We did vacuuming and moving couches and getting under the couches. And good lord, there was a bunch of
Mm.
shit under. Most of it was shit. They were like wrappers and empty water bottles and shit. I'm like, God damn you kids.
Dude,
But
every time with
if
the
we,
couches, every time.
oh my god. But I made it kind of like I put on music that we all kind of liked, and I just kept it lighthearted, and it was
Mhm.
kind of fun. And they didn't want to do it per se, but when you make it kind of like a fun little adventure as opposed to like this is a chore and it sucks, um they just jumped on it, and we like blew through the house in like an hour and a half, like doing dishes. I was teaching them
Wow.
how to sweep, teaching them how to mop, how to here's some wipes, use this to clean up, do this, do that. And they were into it and they had a fun time. And it's something my ex-wife would talk to me about. She's like, I am not going to raise boys that do not know how to like clean a house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I am not doing that. Know how to do it. I'm not going to have them be the kind of guys that go out there and meet a woman have never, cleaned house once in their life. I refuse to have my boys be those type of little assholes because not it's not woman's work. It's everybody's work. And I'm like, no, I completely agree with you. And we still mutually kind of agree on all that type of stuff. So I'm like, all right, I was showing them how to do this, that, the other.
That's actually really cool. Yeah, I used to do that with my kids too. I used to do like the music and stuff. It fizzled out. Um, they just I mean, they still have chores and stuff they have to get done, or they get certain things like they can't do. So I mean, that's just kind of, but I do give them chores and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, my husband was talking to us today. He's like, I just feel like there's for my kids, I just really struggle getting anything to work like that. Mr. T Man says, yo, yo, it's true. Most custodians are dudes.
That's I guess mostly true. God damn, my texting is overlapping again. It was going just fine for a long stretch, and now it's all overlapping. I can't see any damn thing. So frustrating.
I don't know why it's doing that.
I know. I might have to have you, as before, like be the responder to at least verbalizing,
Someone sane says it must be his fault. Must be
right?
me.
You sound.
Says he's done it.
I knew it. It's one of you. Now we know,
He says whenever I type something, he can't read it. LOL. That's so rude, Rob.
right?
Just teasing. Really just smashed my elbow there.
Good job. Good job.
I know.
So, Jessica, you're getting close to the big day, aren't you?
I guess. I don't really know what's happening. So
I guess I don't mean to bring up anything on the live that maybe I don't mean to, but it
oh,
it
I'm good.
date was mid December, right?
Yeah, so my original due date was the 21st. And then they moved it to the 19th. And then it got moved to the 17th. And then I went in this last time. And I was having a lot of contractions and shit. And they they measured me and they're like, oh, he did a double take. This is what I think was the funniest part. I don't know why this made me laugh. but he did like a double take. So he measured my stomach and he goes, "So 36 weeks and 4 days." Then he goes, "Wait a second." And then he remeasures it. "Yeah, 36 weeks and 4 days." And
Wow.
and he's like, "You're 33 weeks." I said, "Yep, I sure am. That doesn't seem right." So I gotta have another ultrasound, and then they're gonna go from there with it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Did you measure big early with any of your others?
Lucas. So yeah, I did. Um, as so Mr. or someone saying says, seriously though, it could be from the emojis, I think is what he was trying to say. And
Oh, I want.
Mr. D Man also said they got good housekeepers and housemen. Uh, he also said watching Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, there you go. See, he knows a good
Love
movie.
myself some Ryan Reynolds, you all know. Just kidding.
Oh, sarcasm is just dripping.
I'm the worst. He's fine. He's fine. I feel like super judged about the Ryan Reynolds thing. I don't know why. So I feel
Because you're the
some
one
guilt
girl on the planet.
because I'm the one. What?
You're the one girl on the planet that is not like head over heels for him.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. He's nice enough. Um,
I
Mr.
know.
Skelton says, "Man, your drawings are so wholesome and nice." And here I am drawing a gore fest with beheadings, pure splatter punk.
Nice. Oh,
N-
now I want to see.
Yeah, I know. Now I feel like I need to see these. Um, Mr. Dehan says, uh, Taika. I don't know if I can pronounce this name right. Taika
Taika
Waititi.
Waititi.
Yeah, an insufferable douchebag of a boss in this movie. Basically, he's playing himself. Oh, talking
Oh,
about.
that's right. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. I remember.
I don't recognize who that is.
He's a movie director. He's done a couple things. He did the Thor Ragnarok, which everyone just loved, and then he did the Thor Love and Thunder, which everyone hated. And it's like, yeah, this gag that you're doing of humorous, emasculating bullshit got old really quick. And everyone loved him, and I'm kind of done with him. I didn't care about him in the first place, but everyone was like, "Oh my god, Taika, he's so amazing." I'm like, "Okay, he did one movie that I've seen that I cared about."
Yeah, interesting.
And then he goes and makes that Thor movie, which I didn't hate, but it certainly
Which one?
was the last one. Love and Thunder with Natalie Portman.
I don't think I watched that one. When did it come out?
Just a couple of years ago.
Really? It had Natalie
Yeah,
Portman in it?
yeah.
The last one I remember had like the Hulk in it, I think.
That's Ragnarok.
I don't think I saw that last Thor movie. I just
Dang.
got so sick and tired. I'll be honest with you. I got so sick and tired of all of the movies. I just
Yeah,
I couldn't keep up with them. So maybe that's why.
yeah. It had so much potential. You got Christian Bale as the villain.
What? Christian Bale was in it?
He plays his character. I think it was Gore the God Killer, and it starts out really emotionally. Like, holy shit! You're like, this has an emotional punch. Oh my god, with his character, you're like, oh, I see where they're going. This could be really cool because he's this alien creature that has this vendetta against the gods of the universe, Thor, and and a bunch of others, and he becomes the God Killer. But they really blew that opportunity. And then they had another incredible opportunity because they have Natalie Portman's character. Not to spoil it for you, but you can go watch it. But they have her character. She wasn't in the last one, but they have her. She come down with cancer, and she was dying, and there was so much opportunity of like emotional drama to show with her suffering through this. But she ends up um because way back when, if you've seen the Avengers movies, Thor's hammer got exploded. What's her name, the evil
Yeah.
chick blew up his hammer. Well, it got fixed in the end game, but he still carries around the giant axe. But they show that in the past, Thor told Mjolnir to always protect Jane. And so when she got cancer, it kind of called to her. So her sickly, cancer ridden ass went up to find out where the hammer is. And she took it, and it gave her the power of Thor. So now she's in this godlike body. And but her human form is still shriveling away from the cancer. So there's a really interesting dynamic that could have played up of like she's in, like to show us for the first time her getting this perfect, powerful superhero god body with all this muscle and power and strength, but her human frail form is still withering away. All this emotional story they could have told, and they just barely hint at it because they went to this emasculating bullshit humor stuff. And I'm like, fucking idiots had the most perfect opportunity to show some really neat stuff, and they blew it.
Well, that's
So
crappy. I still might watch it though.
it's I mean, I would say watch it because there's some visually amazing stuff and there's some humor, and I think it's worth kind of seeing. I'm not one of those that hate it, but again, it's the things they could have done if they didn't want to go out and make Thor himself a giant, stupid, retarded ass joke. Um, it could have been amazing, and they just kind of screwed it up. But it's also visually incredible, so I recommend checking it out at least once. You'd have a laugh, but I may have just ruined everything for you.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's fine. I watch movies all the time. People are like, oh, but you saw like how the ending. How are you gonna go back and rewatch? I'm like, I don't really care that much. I'm not one of those people. I really am not. I really don't care that much.
Yeah.
Someone saying says not a favorite of mine, but I enjoyed it. Oh wait, hold on. I think Mr. Demon said he's the guy who ruined Thor, and I think he's responding to me because I said, "Who is that?" And then
Yeah.
he also said he's okay when he does his own stuff, but he needs to leave Thor alone. Someone saying says not my favorite of mine, but I enjoyed it. He also said they just overloaded it uh with the quips. Mr. D-Man says, I'm not the biggest fan of Thor, but Jack Kirby's version of him was pure gold. Then 50 some years later, here comes this douchebag from New Zealand. Oh my gosh. Ranting TV said, I tried watching that Thor film, but stopped early. And then someone saying says, they refuse to take chances for fear of losing money, and ironically, lose money.
Yeah. All valid arguments that they're saying. Like I said, I didn't hate it as much as everybody, but I absolutely recognize the screwed up opportunity that they lost and how good it could have been. And I think even Chris Hemsworth, the actor, I think he was like, "I'm done with this too." They keep like, "Is there a fourth one?" He's like, would have to be some amazing thing. We got to do something new." I think even he's recognizing like, "Yeah, we fucked up." So
Yeah, that's interesting.
I I hope that they. I wouldn't mind if they did another one. But that being said, I'm also kind of done. The Marvel movies are dead. The way that Star Wars is dead. I don't care anymore. It was a good
It's hard
run,
to
and they
care.
yeah, and they fucked it up so bad that I just I don't know if there's any going back. They need to stop. Here's what they need to do: stop, stop, stop everything. Let it be gone for a couple of years, And then they could either, I mean, I don't know if I want to have them reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't think I'm ready to um, start from scratch again, but just have some time pass, have it be years later in universe where the heroes they existed, but a lot of them disappeared, and you could reintroduce some characters that we know, but where are they now? How have they changed? You could introduce some new things. They got the X-Men, they got the Fantastic Four, but stop, get better writers than anybody that's currently doing anything, and just let us miss it for a minute.
Yeah,
You know, they've even like they were doing. I don't know if did you watch Daredevil on Netflix?
I haven't. No. No, I haven't. That's not. I haven't. That's not one of the ones I've watched.
So good, and so they're bringing Daredevil back, and
Mhm.
they're filming a whole new season for Disney Plus, and from what I read, they got like 8 episodes completely filmed and done of like 16. I think they were going to do, and then they started like taking a creative look at it, and they're like, none of these are working. They fired the writers, they canned the episodes, and are starting over from scratch. After filming 8 entire full episodes, they're like, it's not working. Stop. Start over.
Oh wow.
Which is that's a lot of money and production spent on something to just to say, well, you know, you're not doing it right. Stop. But I don't know if anyone cares anymore, you know? So it's just like you were saying, it's so hard to care. I don't care. I don't care about. I miss the Marvel. I'll go back and watch any of these Marvel movies that were out before, all of them, the phase 1 through 3 or whatever. I still
Hmm.
love them, but I can't. I cannot be interested in any new thing coming out. I sorry, Jess. I can't read any of these things
No,
people are
you're fine.
saying. I hate to keep
Um.
faulting to you.
Let me pull this up here. Sorry, guys. Mark says, "What's up, y'all? Cute Yoda painting. Thank you." Someone saying says hi. Rand Inc. TV says the Netflix version is interesting. It's not a Marvel film either. Called Ragnarok. Mr. D-Man says someone saying that MCU style of humor got played out by the time GOTG ran or came out. Jeez, I'm sorry. They're like coming in actually. There's a ton. So I'm trying
I
to read
know.
it.
Sorry, Guardians
There's
of the
like they're
Galaxy.
like sliding up. Ranting
Yeah,
TV says no Michael Bay. Daredevil is the best. Someone saying said yeah because they're chasing the money. When it hit big, so they forced all the other films to go that direction. Ranting TV says I'll take those 8 episodes. Someone saying said they should have kept true to the characters and their respective titles. And then Rand Inc. TV says Venom movies are disappointing. Someone saying says yes. Or yeah, don't I didn't enjoy the Venom movies either. I think that's everything.
yeah.
Probably gonna have to go get a charger for my computer because sounds like, oh, we're going to power saves mode. Um,
Oh.
but I will say, like, I really liked the first two Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire.
Oh yeah, everyone did. Yeah.
And I really struggled when they came out with the new Spider-Man movies. Like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I didn't like. And then I really struggled with what's his bucket, the kid, the new
Tom
guy.
Holland.
Yeah, Tom
Yeah.
Holland. I don't know why, but to me, I mean, I liked him better, I think, than the what was his name, Garfield, the other one.
Yeah, Andrew
But
Garfield.
Spider-Man is kind of was always like a thing for me. I grew up. My dad is a big Spider-Man fan. He always talked about though. I guess in the actual comic books, it's not Mary Jane he's into starting off. It was
It's
Gwen,
Gwen Stacy way at the beginning, but it's been Mary Jane as his love for way longer. But yes,
and so
yeah,
he was like, "Oh, if they were really being true to like the comic books." My dad's like what is he, 61
Nerd.
or 62 or something. So he remembers when they came out. And anyway, he was like, oh, yeah, it was like Gwen Stacy first, not. Anyway, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Rand Inc. 2 says, I'm just typing this to get Jess to say something embarrassing because I'm trying to read all these. Someone saying says, I liked both Deadpool movies. Iron Man and Captain America are probably my favorites. I love Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
The movies. Someone saying says the underwear joke is difficult to make happen with text. Nice. Anyway. Excuse me. Yes, I am. You guys can type whatever you want. I'll read it. I probably shouldn't say that.
I was about to say, guys, she said she'd read anything, so type some fucked up shit. Now she has to read it.
As someone saying says success, and Mark just says ha ha ha.
Right. You said you'd read it. It's kind of like Anchorman. You ever seen that? Right.
Oh yes, I love Anchorman.
Like he'll read anything you put on that prompter, and when I say anything, I mean anything. Go
Till
fuck
next time.
yourselves.
Go fuck
Yeah.
yourselves. There you go.
And he doesn't even realize it. He's like, good
Yeah,
show, everybody.
yeah. He's like,
Floor.
that was a good one. And everybody's
Well
just like,
done. Well, yeah. And
I
then
love it.
later, and he's like, great Odin's Raven. I don't remember saying that.
My
Like, yeah,
favorite one is when they say, well, the network is concerned about our lack of diversity. And he's like, well, one guy's like, what the hell is diversity? And he's like, I believe it's an old wooden ship.
wooden ship.
And they're like,
Yes, that's one of the best lines.
it's like, I would be surprised if the network was concerned about our lack of old wooden ships. But thank you, Ron. He's like, like, no
I don't.
problem.
I don't know. I don't know if you were there, but when we worked at the store together,
Uh-huh.
that tunnel that you would walk down to go back into the offices, on one of the walls, they had a bunch of stuff painted on there, and one of them, for a stretch of time, amongst all these words, was the word diversity. And so I went out several times. I printed out a picture of Ron Burgundy, and then I typed out the text, cut out a word bubble, taped it up right next to the word diversity. He's like, well, I believe diversity is an old wooden ship. And then people would take it down, and I just put it right back up the next day.
Why would they
It was
take
like,
it down?
because everyone is stupid and doesn't have a sense of humor. Like, oh, that's funny. Let's just leave it up there.
That's funny
But
as
I
hell.
thought I was hilarious because I got the joke. I don't know that anyone else did.
I don't know if I ever saw that. I don't know if I would just don't remember, or did you
Yeah.
tell me you were doing that?
I don't think so. I'm sure I knew you at the time, but if I would have known you liked that humor at the time, I 100% would have been like, "Hey, I got this funny thing we're gonna do."
Oh yeah, I loved. And then in the second one, which I know isn't as great as the first one, I know, but in the second one, he has a wooden ship on his wall, and I would,
Seriously?
yeah, I just laughed my ass off when I saw
I
that.
only ever saw the second one time because it was not as funny, so I never bothered revisiting it. But
Yeah, that's
I'm
how it was
dude
me
now.
too. But I did notice the ship, so.
That's funny.
Okay, let's see here. Mr. D Man says Daredevil is way too dark, a character for punk ass Disney to adapt. That is probably true. It would be a complete nightmare. Randy TV just laughed at that, or I don't know what he's laughing at. Just a couple of laughing emojis.
Probably
Um,
the idea of us getting to say some fucked up shit.
Mr. Devan says they basically hire writers and directors who hate comic books. Yeah, it does feel that way from what I've heard and understand. Rand Inc. says 70% of the time works all the time. Yes.
Oh yeah, it smells like pure gasoline.
Yeah. Stings the nostrils.
in the nostrils.
That's quite pungent, I dare say.
Now I got to watch that movie. It's been
I
a
know
minute.
it's so good. The jazz flute scene is hilarious.
You're going to play jazz flute for us, Mr. Burgundy.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I'm so unprepared. Pulls it out of the sleeve of it.
He pulls out the flute from his jacket or whatever. Oh my gosh, it's so great. Ah, that movie's awesome. Love it. Wow, look at you. Oh, this looks so good. Look how crisp those lines are you did for the shading.
Just
Love.
using a French and a fresh new pen. I just use one of these and just because I'm like, how do I capture these gray tones? I don't want it jet black. So I'm like, well, let me try this.
That looks great. I love it.
Kind of gives it like again, not a solid black, but a shadow, a mid tone.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like the look of that.
Well, thanks. I am awesome.
You are.
I was waiting for you to be like, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Rob.
Okay, now. No, I'm just kidding.
Bring it down
Some,
a notch.
some, what'd you say?
You're like, bring it down a notch, Rob.
Okay, let's take down a tone.
Not
Someone saying says I saw something about a new Crow movie or something. I seriously hope they don't fail with it. They will. They should not redo that. That is a dumb idea.
okay. I'm gonna disagree in that I
Oh
do
my
want to see
gosh,
it.
please no.
Well, I just recently watched. I've never read the original book, but I want to now. I've actually got it up, queued up on my Amazon to order. There is so much interesting stuff in the original comic that was just left out that I believe if they adapted it very, very faithfully, it would be potentially really interesting. I agree with you. The original is great, but it kind of stands on its own as like not a completely faithful adaptation of the original work. Um,
That's fair, but
I
who is doing this said movie?
well, that's the thing. One, it's not Marvel or it's not DC. It's not these chuckleheads. So it's got the potential to have somebody to do it correctly as opposed to these idiots running those other big studios. As far as I understand it, I don't think it's tied to Disney or Warner Brothers or
I
anything like
certainly would
that.
hope
So,
not. If
right.
Disney tries to do it, I will literally I was actually say something kind of violent, and I'm not going to say that, but I would be very
Uh,
upset.
you're like, I'll start kicking cats.
I will go down there and I will key every one of their cars.
Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of on board with the idea. The actor they've got queued up to play it, I can't remember his name, but I'm like, okay, I can see this. And again, after having just like yesterday watched these guys do a in-depth or yesterday or in the last couple of days, did an in-depth page by page breakdown of what was in the original comic. I'm like, there's so much left out. I'm like, this could be really good if it's done right. So I agree with you. Like the
I don't
original's great and
know.
it'd be screw it up. All the sequels suck. I kind of
Yeah.
like the second one, The Crow City of Angels. I'm kind of okay with it,
I've only seen that
but
maybe one time. I didn't.
yeah, but it no, all the rest of them were just god awful. They didn't know what they were doing. It's about having the right director with the right vision, and so I am hopeful that yes, they I'm hopeful it'll be good. They could totally screw it up. I agree, but I think it deserves a fair shot at a really
Thank
like
you.
another possible.
Mr. D Man says, Rob, you know they never do anything right. Thank you very much. And that's exactly how.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I can't remember who's in control of it, but if it's not Disney or the Marvel or the DC, it's someone else. You know, on occasion they can make a good movie. Like we all saw that Mad Max movie come out, Fury Road or whatever. How the hell did that happen? Or the last Dune movie? It's possible to have a good movie made, but They are fewer and fewer, far between. 100% agree.
Mr. D-Man had said old school techniques, actors are still on strike. It's indie comics. Someone saying said, I thought Sandman was good. Looking forward to the next season if it actually happens. Yeah, I haven't even watched that.
I
Um,
didn't either.
someone saying said, I blacked out the sequels for The Crow from my memory.
Yeah, that's the better thing to do.
That's the better thing to do, he says. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess we'll see what happens, but I don't have much faith.
yeah. They've eroded our ability to like have any faith that they could do something good. That's why there's such an opportunity for people to come along and like it's all dying. No one cares about this shit. We need something new, something different. People
Mm-hmm.
want to Oppenheimer that came out, like this slow burn 3 hour movie of people talking, and it made hundreds of millions of dollars. Like people want something different. Like I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it. It was slow. It was a little bit of a slog in places, but just the fact that it was different, I'm like, oh my god, this is so great. You know, so I think there's an audience hungry for it. They just have to have the balls to do something different. And
Yeah,
that.
that's probably true. Um, no, that's a good point.
Uh,
I hope we start getting some better stuff coming out.
yeah. Well, I think I finished this one too.
Um, Nick says Jess the Crow 2 was okay. Oh, yeah, I only saw it one time that I recall. I mean, I don't remember it very well. And I probably was high when I watched it, to be honest with you.
Jess, I love you so much. That's so funny. Oh god, that was funny.
But
I like
I don't
I
remember
mean
watching.
it was slightly connected to the first movie, like in a very vague way. Like the little girl was grown up into a grown woman, and there's a little bit of a connection. I thought the
Right.
actor was okay. The direction was okay. It was fine, but yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Again, just movies, I get that, but I do sometimes hate having nostalgia ruined. Let's see here. Um, Mr. G-Man says Netflix is full of passion projects. Someone saying, sorry, I forgot the true in front of project. Nick Wilson said, we just want to see you and Jess battle on YouTube. Someone saying said, true passion projects come out good. Nick said, I smoke a lot of weed. Love you, Jess. It is good for the soul. Mark says, whoa, do just kids watch this show? They don't. They don't. But they
They
know.
don't care.
So, Mr. G-Man says, uh, Mags, and I feel like I always gonna butcher these pronunciations. Visagio has passion projects. Thank the Lord we don't see any of them. And then Nick says maybe short term memory loss from the read might have something to do why you don't remember. But honestly, I kind of think it was a good thing if we want to go back to that. Like maybe it's a good thing that I got the short term memory loss, you know. So I don't have to remember that movie. Just kidding.
You're like, I was maybe high. I don't know. Who
I might
knows?
have not been, but I probably was. That's just usually.
It's it's a good possibility you were
Yeah,
all
it,
altered state.
that looks really good, Rob. I like what you did with that there. I really do.
Well, thanks. I had a whole other idea in mind, and I wasn't sure how I was going to do these gray tones, but I kind of like how that came out. I'm like, oh, that kind of works. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it looks super good. I really love what you did there. And I actually am about to lose my battery anyway, so I will probably hop off here and call this good.
Call it a day.
Yeah. So Nick says, "LOL, Jess, you made my night. Jess, honestly, is the best key, but weed was better back then. Honesty is the best key, but weed was better back then." Anyways, well, thanks for having me on and doing some art together and chit chatting. Thanks for everybody who got on and chatted as well.
Yep, yep.
I'm gonna jump off. I don't know if you're hanging around or not.
I'm gonna bail for now. I got some other things that just cropped up just for a second. I gotta solve, but yeah, I'll be done too.
All right, all right, sounds good. Awesome sauce. Well, we will talk to y'all later.
Yep.
Bye.